Hey, what's up? It's Matt. We're back with another episode of MPTV. We're live in the Deep Work Studios at our headquarters here for America's Best Restaurants in Northern Kentucky with another in-person, not in the restaurant owner interview. Manny, tell us who you are, your restaurant, where you're from.
I'm Manny Matsos. I am from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. I'm the owner of Fellini Cafe, local Italian BYOB. Pennsylvania is very popular with the BYOBs because very expensive to get a liquor license.
In Pennsylvania, yeah.
In Pennsylvania. So it became a popular thing about 20 years ago, and it's still popular. You bring your own bottle, keep your check low, big portions. That's us.
That's you.
Homemade food.
So what's your background? How did you get, and how long have you had Fellini?
Fellini's I've had since 2007.
Okay.
I grew up in the food business our whole life. All my relatives were in the food business. So I started my first food job was at Yankee Stadium outside, selling hot dogs.
Oh, crap.
So I used to serve Dave Winfield 4 hot dogs, 2 grape Welches, $20, keep the change. It was about, I don't know, $8 at the time.
Like before a game or after?
After.
Okay. Like, he's a little slow running the bases because
Don
of you.
Mattingly, Steve Balboni. Who else was there? Ricky
How old
Henderson.
were you?
I was young, 13.
Okay.
But it was a great job. We made a ton of money. We worked the Yankees games and the Jehovah's Witness at the stadium. And we each had a cart in front of a gate. I was gate 4. And we sold hot dogs before the game and after the game. And it was awesome for us, young kids.
Oh, yeah.
So we started there, then working pizza stores. It was always food. I tried to get out of it for about 5 years. Got the itch, and I knew it was like the food was my thing. That was for me. So I got back into it, and then, eventually I opened Fellini's, and that was it. From then,
Into the game,
good.
it's all uphill since then. So you've had Fellini's, 15 years or so.
About 15 years. 7 years in, we opened the second location.
Okay.
And now I have both locations, so we're working both locations. It's good. I mean, it's difficult at times, but in the end, it's great.
Yeah. So we were talking outside the studio about this, about marketing, and I'm always curious to hear the owner's point of view. And one of the things you made a comment, which I thought was funny, you said, I didn't sign up to send emails and Facebook posts.
Right. I mean, a lot of us, we know nothing about marketing or media. I mean, you have an idea, but I didn't know what email was 10 years ago. I didn't know how to work it, at least. I didn't know what Facebook was. Online ordering, now DoorDash and these third-party delivery services. So you have to educate yourself on this stuff, especially, I'm a bit younger, but the older guys, they're clueless. They don't know how to turn on their phone. So, you didn't sign up for it, but you have to learn it, or else, you're going to stay back.
Yeah.
You're going to get lost with the rest of the non-profiting restaurants, I guess.
Yeah, I heard somebody the other day say that a lot of restaurant owners don't realize they're a legit nonprofit.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So what's the point of deviation, I guess, to where you get too deep into learning versus relying on an expert to help you get it across the finish line?
I don't think you should ever do it yourself. I mean, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You should always contact someone, just like, we were saying, you have a chef, make the pasta, make the veal. You have a professional doing the social media, the marketing. You have to know your strengths, weaknesses, stay in your lane.
Yep. Well, when I was telling Max, my video guy, ironically, I was telling him this yesterday, and we were on a call today before we went into a lunch meeting with a guy that owns a pizza restaurant in Charlotte. And he has 2 other companies, and he has 3 restaurants total. One's a bar with no food. One is the pizza place next to the bar with no food. And then the other one's a kind of a casual, higher-end casual dining down the street. And he was talking about the restaurant business and him. He's like, I asked him about his social media. I said, hey, I noticed that you guys aren't posting much. Like, there's not much happening. Why? He's like, well, it's my partner's wife. And I had told Max the other day, we were talking about it because he's new to our business. He's my new video guy. He just travels and follows me and films me. It's all he does. And we're working on, we don't know what the documentary is going to be in a year, but it might be a complete shit show. It might be something funny. Like, he made a joke. He's like, I got a whole compilation already of like D's nuts jokes. And that's what she says. He's like, at some point we're going to get marketing advice. But I told him yesterday, I said, the problem we run into a lot is that the number of restaurants that, it blows me away, that rely on their servers and bartenders, their kid or their spouse to be the social media, or just the marketing. It, to me, is kind of humorous because, like, my son started working at a pizza joint down the street called Grandma's, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. Like, they didn't put him building the menu,
Right.
doing the ingredients of the food. They don't put a dishwasher on the steaks at a steak restaurant. They put them on the dishes. Right. And so there's always that inclination that marketing can be handled by somebody in the restaurant that can learn it.
No. I believe with the restaurant owners, we talked about this a little bit outside, a big problem is when they finally reach the point of needing help, it's kind of late.
Yeah.
And they're reaching out because they're slow or their business is not going well, they're not making enough money. So then you couple that with the price they have to pay, and then they're kind of like scared and they can't afford it. They back up and they go to the partner's wife and they're not going to do a good job. I mean, you're going to get what you pay for.
Well, I tell a lot of our clients, one thing we've done the last couple of years, and I started doing it because I heard restaurants tell me that your team is a part-time employee to me. It's not a marketing expense. It's like if I had a server doing 10 hours a week as marketing, I wouldn't count her as a marketing expense. She's on payroll as an employee.
Right.
I look at you guys as employees to some extent because the services you're providing, you're a part-time employee that I would never be able to afford at the level of expertise.
Right.
And so that's one thing I think a lot of businesses need to look at is you've got part-time employees for everything. Why not, have a part-time employee? Like I had a guy the other day was complaining about his tax accountant. And he was like, well, he's expensive, this and that. I'm like, well, it might be a lot more expensive if you didn't have him.
Right.
And you were on the other side of some bars.
Right. Same thing, exactly. Same thing.
So talk about your day. Talk about the some of the things you see in the restaurant business that you thrive in. Like you've been on the corner selling Dave Winfield hot dogs. You've now in the four walls selling sandwiches. How do you get through your days and focus on what's important? Because I know every day something happens. The Pepsi machine breaks, an employee calls in sick.
Every day is different, especially today with after COVID, deliveries and ordering and all this stuff is horrible. But you adjust. I mean, every day is different. You get up, you go in, get in a little early, check and see what you need. Monday's going to be different than Tuesday, and Tuesday's going to be different than Saturday. And you prepare yourself. So this way, you can execute. If you're prepared, you're going to execute. If you're not prepared, 2 tables are going to look busy to you. Yeah. So you go in and see what you need that day. And the restaurant business is day by day. You can plan for the week or for the month, but every hour is different.
Oh yeah, I think unlike any business, like when I had my boat and RV dealership that me and my dad and brother had, I remember telling a friend of mine when I got out of radio, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to call every rep that calls me because when I was in selling radio or advertising, it always sucked that you'd call these owners and you had their best interest in heart,
right? And
you could never get a hold of anybody. You could never get a return call. I said, Jimmy, I'm going to call everybody back. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to champion it. Right. Within like a week, I'm like, I'm not calling anybody back, Jimmy. I'm like, my days, I come in and I have this agenda, and then Eric backs an Airstream through a 30-foot glass window. It breaks it out. Somebody wrecks a forklift in the parking lot. A customer comes in pissed off. Right. The UPS driver doesn't show up with a part you're expecting. The boat and RV business was tough from a day to keep your day organized. But the restaurant business, what I've seen, you've got every component, especially in 2021.
Too many moving parts. That's another reason you should hire a professional for the social media. You walk in that door, you may have intentions of making coffee, sitting down and working on social media for that first hour. I guarantee you 99% of the time that's not going to happen. Yeah. Before you get in that door, 10 other things are going to need your attention. So you're never going to do it correctly. You may post something, a little, but you're never going to do it correctly like a professional. That's not happening.
What's something you've seen this year? So you mentioned online ordering. I know we were talking about outside some of the different food manufacturers or the distributors. What are some things you've seen change this year that have gotten you going a better route forward? Like I talked to a restaurant owner recently. He said, Matt, the first time I ever had online ordering was March 18th. Right. After the pandemic.
Right.
I knew it was there. I had a button in my point of sale and I could put it on my website. And he's like, I always avoided it. Now he's like, it's the greatest thing for me because I bet half my to-go orders, which used to be somebody walking in, ordering at the counter and waiting for 10 minutes in the lobby, looking at the phone and waiting. Right. Now they ordered online. They come in. It's ready. They get the heck out.
Well, that's funny. For us especially, we're a 60-seat restaurant.
Okay.
So we always had roots in takeout, never delivery. Takeout. COVID, opened our eyes into another market. We were comfortable before COVID. Yep. So after COVID, when we saw what you can do with family-style meals, takeout, delivery, I'm like, whoa, I just turned my restaurant from 60 seats to 160 seats.
Yeah.
So it opened your eye. It got us out of our comfort zone. And I kind of appreciate it because I would have never tapped into those markets. We're just too comfortable. We're like, we're busy, whatever. But catering, family style, takeout, delivery, everything. I mean, it's great.
What delivery? Are you guys doing it yourself or is that third party?
No, we're doing DoorDash.
Okay.
I mean, it's more expensive, and we urge our customers to come pick it up, save money and stuff like that. But the radius they cover, we can never cover.
They can never cover. Not cost effectively, yeah.
They go far. I mean, they'll go 10, 15 miles.
So one thing we ought to put in place, since you're now working with us, this is an easy thing, but anybody can put this in place. We ought to have the team make up a graphic, a flyer that goes on top of, inside that bag, on top of that first box that says, we appreciate your business. Scan this code to join our VIP to get XYZ for free and order directly next time.
Right.
That's a great way to convert when they open that bag up, especially now that like all the third parties, a lot of people are sealing the bags now, that nobody's opening it. That customer opens up, the first thing on top is, like, I don't know what your offer is. Let's say what is it, a free sandwich or what's your?
We have a appetizer.
Free appetizer? Okay.
We did the dessert.
Yeah. So you could have on there, want a free appetizer and dessert? We thought you did. Scan this code, and then that way they get it.
Right.
And now they're inclined, because one thing I've talked about with third party is since day one, I've been telling people about third party for 3 years because I'm like, hey, it's not a tool to supplement your restaurant. In my mind, it's an acquisition tool. Correct. That if you can get somebody to order food from Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash that might not have ordered before, now it's the goal of, okay, you give them a great product, but then also find a way to get their data so that when they open that bag and they scan it, that you can get them a pickup or maybe to come in the restaurant next time.
Right. That would be the ideal way. Make them your customers. Yeah. They don't seem to care to pay, though. The customers, like, how say put the packaging in there, save money. I don't think they care.
Some of them don't, no. Like my 7-year-old doesn't give a shit.
My daughter doesn't give a shit.
My son orders, like, the other day I'm at the house, and we were getting ready to eat dinner like in an hour. Like we don't make much food, but my wife was actually making something. And I see my son come down and open the door. I'm like, what are you doing? Because nobody goes out our door to our house. You got the garage. I had Auntie Anne's delivered. Like, what? You ordered the mall pretzel.
Delivery
to the house. Yeah. Like, who paid for it? And he looked at me and was like,
you did.
I guess you. And I'm like, so I just paid $17. And like, I'm not going to give him a heart. He's a good kid. I mean, it is what it is. I was a stupid ass and I was his age too. But I was just like, we're getting ready to eat for one. Like, two, why don't you ask somebody? But at the end of the day, like, he doesn't really care a whole lot.
They don't care. My daughter's 10. We were sitting in bed. It was midnight. She's like, Daddy, I'm craving a Gatorade. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going. It's midnight.
She's craving Gatorade?
She goes, can we DoorDash it? I'm like, DoorDash it. She DoorDashed from Wawa at one Gatorade.
I DoorDashed. I wasn't DoorDash. It was another app. I was in somewhere down. I can't remember where I was at now, but I was craving something to drink, and I didn't want water, which is what we all should drink, but I wasn't. And I did one of these apps for Monster. And I had never heard of doing grocery at the time. And I realized later on that's how DoorDash got their start. But I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that's what somebody told me. The whole thing was, getting groceries. They're like convenience store, little stuff to people's houses, and it kind of evolved. But yeah, I had an app. Ordered a Monster, brought it to the office I was at. There was nothing. There was no vending machines. It was like, you guys ever heard of like a vending machine or anything? But they didn't have it.
Crazy, new era, new time.
New times. But yeah, you're right though. It also you mentioned some people don't care about, like me, for example. If it's a convenience, I'll pay $3, $4, $5. But also sometimes it's not the person paying for it. We have a gym that I'm part owner in. Back early on when we opened up, we had a college student discount. It was 15% off for college students to make it more affordable. It was a CrossFit gym. It was like $150. So it was like whatever, $120 for college students. And I was about 6 months in. I'm looking at it, And I said, guys, we need to get rid of the college discount. Why? The parents are paying. What do you mean? I said, look at I went through, you can see the name on the card in our system. It ain't the kids.
No.
Mom and dad are paying. They have no clue what the hell they're buying.
Right.
They're just paying for the gym membership for their kid. I'm like, so we're giving a discount to kids who don't care what it costs.
Right. Are going to buy it regardless what the price is.
Yeah. And so I think there's a lot to be said about that with third party.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they wouldn't work otherwise with the fees and that they charge. I ordered one time through DoorDash because I wasn't feeling well. It was a hoagie, $12 hoagie. It was $26 when it came home. I'm like, shit, that's the last time I order with DoorDash. So, but they don't care. I mean, hey, it works for us.
Okay, break time. Restaurant owners, you're watching MPTV, so you're obviously interested in increasing your sales and profits. But what if I told you you could eliminate the hope and pray out of your marketing? You could spend money and actually see results. You know, most marketing starts with attention, like a billboard. The problem is that attention leads nowhere. That's why we created the ROI Engine Restaurant Program. We take attention and gain huge engagement, whether it's in-store or online. We help you build a database with deep customer information that's comprised of email, cell phone, and birthday. And then we drive them into the restaurant with trackable results. Yes, results you can actually see. If you're interested and want to have a conversation, check out restaurantmarketingthatworks.com. Worst case scenario, you get a lot of great ideas. Now back to the show.
What's been one of the funniest things that's happened to you in the restaurant business? I always like to hear some stories, like something that sticks out. Like for me, like at the boat dealership, it was kind of funny was that one of our guys pulled a boat up to the front of the building, and we had our building sitting here, and we had a retention pond at the bottom. And the joke was always that we were going to put a boat in the pond eventually. Well, this kid pulls up with the boat on a forklift going the wrong direction, shouldn't have been up there, and didn't have the boat attached to the forklift, just had it kind of hanging on there. And of course, it bounced, and that $46,000 boat went flying down it, jumped a curb, and went 20 feet into a pond.
So, I'll tell you, it's funny and not funny, but it's a good story. We were waiting for a snowstorm, a blizzard. So we're like, everyone stay home. They were hyping up this blizzard for like 2-3 days.
That's what they get paid to do.
Right.
White death is coming.
They work with the supermarkets. They're partners, you know. So anyway, that's our belief. So anyway, it's just me and my manager sitting in Fellini's. He's like, come. We were at home, and he said, meet me at Fellini's. We'll have coffee. I'm like, okay. He's like, we'll have an espresso. I'm like, all right. We're sitting there, 12 o'clock, no snow. 1 o'clock, no snow. 2 o'clock, no snow. He's like, come on, let's get the hell out of here. We leave. Around 5 o'clock, when we left, it started blizzard, like snowing hard. It was a blizzard. So around 5 o'clock, he calls me. He's like, it's me for another espresso at Fellini's. I'm like, all right, cool. We get there. We're drinking. 3 people walk in. Are you open? He goes, yes. I'm like, what do you mean yes? He goes, you cook, and I'll stay in the front. I'm like, cool. They walk in, sit down, phone rings. Can you take 2 in about 10 minutes? Full blizzard outside. Sure, come on in. Make a long story short, friggin' room fills up. I'm back there by myself, alone. Pots, pans, sautés, everything alone. I get it slip, and it says, shrimp special. I said, you motherfucker. I just threw everything out. I'm like, what shrimp special? I said, I can't keep up with the shit I'm doing. He's like, just make whatever you want. So it turned out to be a funny story. I mean, we went from a blizzard to a full friggin' dining room, the two of us, me and him.
Isn't it amazing the minute that door's open, how
it's crazy. It's unbelievable. The restaurant business is very unpredictable.
Yep.
You can be waiting for a Saturday night, oh, I'm going to kick ass and be a dud, and then have a Tuesday night that's a Saturday. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah, I had an owner one time tell me that he was at the restaurant by himself, and it was closed, but somebody had left the front door unlocked. And it wasn't crazy late, but it was like 10 o'clock, like on a Sunday night or something, and he walks out there, and this dude sitting there. He was like, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, I'll tell you. He's like, he didn't have the heart to tell the guy he wasn't open. Right. And he's like, next thing he knows, people are filing in, and he's by himself. And he's like, I had to stop the bleeding at some point and lock the door and close the blinds and tell these guys, hey, we're technically not open. I'll take care of your stuff.
I think the way it is anymore, you can open in America. You can open every day and be busy.
Yeah.
Like Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, doesn't matter. You know, you close for your employees so they can be with their families. If you wanted to open, it'd be a regular day.
Are you guys open 7 days a week?
Yes. At the second location, we just started doing just dinner after COVID, and it's worked out. We're busier,
Yep.
so
there's no
need to
lunch.
open. No lunch. But it's also a remote area with not a lot of
Okay.
it. The Newtown Square is more in like a a city setting, so it has a little bit of corporate, a little bit of other business. It's got a little lunch. Our restaurants historically are not big lunch places.
Okay.
We're pasta, salad. We have sandwiches, but I think in your mind you never think of an Italian restaurant as a lunch spot.
No, because it's heavy. Yeah,
Right,
you're
it's heavy.
How do you balance that? Because when we had the boat dealership, we were unique. We were open 7 days a week. Typically on Monday through Friday, we were 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And Saturday and Sunday, we had limited hours. But we were the only dealership open Sunday. We were the only dealership open after 5 o'clock. And I remember looking back now, like they had a couple, I can't say I'm PG-13. They had a couple nicknames for me, the employees did.
Right.
Because we were open all the time. And I remember looking at it when we first opened the dealership, and I was in my early 20s. I was successful early on in radio, and me and my dad were hustlers. And I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, we're a boat dealership. Everybody closes at 5. Monday through Friday, 5. Saturday, limited 8 a.m. to noon, nothing Sunday. And I'm like, if I'm shopping for a boat, I'm working till 5. So every boat dealership in town's closed. And on Saturdays, they have limited hours, and Sundays, nobody's open.
Right.
Like, why the hell aren't we open? So we started opening. We were open till 9 o'clock Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, we were open, I want to say it was like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then Sunday, like noon to 8. And we killed it. But I also remember looking back later on that we killed it because people told us you're the only place open Friday night, 7 o'clock. Right. And there's that balancing act, though, of, yes, we're taking advantage of a market that's there. But like you mentioned, you've got employees. And the more hours you're open, the more shifts you have and the less flexibility you have. I had a friend of mine, Shaheen, who used to have a restaurant downtown Cincinnati called Burrito Joe's. And what he loved about it was he's only open Monday through Friday for lunch. He's like, Matt, I need one manager. I have one shift of employees. The minute I'm open for dinner, now I've got a break. I've got new managers. What's the balancing act and like not being tempted to open all the time?
I'll tell you, when I first opened Fellini's, the first couple of years, I figured it out really quick. I stopped hiring employees for experience, and I started hiring personalities. And it worked out excellent for me because when you're good people, other employees want to help you.
Okay.
I want to help you. You can get any day you want off. You want to open after 5 and we're the only restaurant or RV place in town, a good personality is going to stay with you.
Yep.
So you hire the right people, good people, I think it'll work out for you. So,
how do you fight the temptation? And obviously your food isn't huge for lunch, but you've got mortgage. You could be open for breakfast. You could be open for lunch. You could be open Monday through Sunday. I think a lot of times we look at that and say, hey, there's 21 eating day parts in the week.
Yeah.
And we're open 10 of them. Like, have you ever had the temptation to look at more?
You do, but you have, you got to put in the equation, the quality of life.
Okay.
You have a family, you have kids. My kids are young. If you don't, spend time with them now, and when they're 16, 17, fuck off, I'm out of here, I'm going out.
Oh, no, I agree.
So you got to make time for that. It's tempting. You can stay open 24 hours. I mean, though, especially today after COVID, they'll order at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
But you got to, what's important to you? Of course, your business, especially restaurant owners, they're very passionate. They love their business, but, it's like their kid. But you have to also make time for your family.
Do you think there's advantages to maybe having some limited availability, that you're not open Sundays and Mondays, and now you've got people that know, hey, I got to get there on a Tuesday through Saturday?
Yeah, I think there is. Our town, like a lot of towns in the country, I think they close early now. They shut down early, even before COVID.
Oh, yeah.
We were open till 10, I remember 7, 8 years ago, and 11 o'clock, we still may have people waiting to get a table. That changed. You're open till 10, and 9 o'clock, it's done. So, I mean, I forgot your question.
Whatever, we're talking about like capacity, like that.
Right. So that's what I was going to say. So, we close at 10, but they know now that if there's no people around 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock, these guys are going to close.
Yeah.
So what we did was we put them on a road where they come in earlier now, or they'll pick up the phone and say, "Are you guys still open?" It'll be 8:30, 8:20, and they're like, "You guys can you take 3 of us in 10 minutes?" So you've taught them how to come earlier, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
Kind of force their hand a little.
you have to also because, you know, you may have a couple tables left at 9 o'clock. You're not going to hold an entire staff for one table.
Yeah.
Oh, but your sticker outside the door says 10. Yeah, well, I also have 8 employees here that want to go home early. Why shouldn't I let them go home early?
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing going on.
Nothing going on. Yeah.
We were open 12 hours. You had 12 hours to come the hell in here. You want to come the last friggin' minute.
The last minute.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's all circumstances. Someone that's struggling may stay open.
Yeah.
You know, because every penny counts. So thank God we're doing very well. We can, you know, educate our guests on how we do things.
Yep.
You know, we'll be respectful. We'll give you a good meal, value for your money, all this stuff. But, you know, they're doing it everywhere. I called here today for bagels. First thing the answering machine said was, be patient due to the national crisis. They tell you, you know, right away. So, you know.
And that's true. I mean, it's like my wife, you know, everybody's a little impatient, and I do appreciate some of the posts you see on Facebook that, you know, because everybody's complaining about employees not showing up, not enough people hiring, and then you go to a restaurant, you're like, this is bull crap. Why are we so served? It's like, you know, we all know.
They're sensitive till it's them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible, this, that, the other. Then they come and sit down like, well, where's my wage? I'm like, come on, man. You know, like, I'm not going to penalize the people that actually show up and work.
Yeah.
You know, this poor girl's doing the work for 2 or 3. We don't have that problem, but I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not like these big restaurants, 200-300 seats with bartenders, servers, managers. They're going to be short. You're going to have to wait. I mean, you know, that's the reality of it, you know.
So we've talked about people and coming in a restaurant. Let's talk about marketing. What's some of the stuff that you stick out that you've done in these many years? Like something crazy or something funny or something unique to get people in?
I did nothing. I was never into nothing. The only thing we're doing now is the Facebook, the Instagram, with you guys and stuff. But pre this, I mean, we banked everything on our personalities. Like, you know, be nice to people, and you know, that was our marketing. Be nice to everyone, so they come back. But we had no data. We had no, you know, anything. Recently, we just got Open Table a couple of years ago. I wasn't a believer in that. Also, you know, like everything else.
Did you know Open Table has notes you can add on people in there?
Right. Yes.
It's pretty cool. I know some restaurants that do a good job with that. That when somebody comes in, they'll add a note like, "Oh, was here celebrating daughter's college graduation."
Right. Yeah. We use that. They have a lot of marketing tools that none of us use.
Yeah.
A lot. Open Table especially. So things like that. But pre the tech world or in the we really didn't do much. Everything was us.
Just word of mouth.
Right. Word of mouth and just be nice to people and great food, and the word got out, and that was our marketing, you know.
So what made you take a step? Because you reached out to me, you heard me on a podcast. What made you take the step to? What made in your head click that you needed to do something now versus 5 years ago?
I thought this was a good time because we're very busy right now. We have everything's going very nicely, so I said this is a good time to, you know, integrate something different and keep these people who we don't know who they are.
Yep.
Let's do something where, since they're coming and they enjoy us and they're coming back, let's do something to make them ours. You know, so I don't know how to do that.
Yep. Well, most people don't realize that 85 to 90% of the people that are sitting in your restaurant that are ordering from you, restaurants don't know who they are. They might say, "Oh, that's Joe. He comes every Wednesday."
Right.
What's his last name?
Right.
What's his email? What's his phone number? What's his birthday? When was the last time he was in? And when you start asking that question, I think sometimes we take for granted. Like, you know, I know that when I go home, most nights my wife and kids are going to be there.
Right.
Well, if I neglect them, they might not be there eventually.
Right. And Joe is the easy part because Joe may be outgoing and introduce himself and you know who he is, but that guy Matt that's sitting there, he's more, you know, reserved, quiet. Yeah, he comes once in a while, but I don't know who the hell he is. You know, so.
And you don't have a way to systematically get his attention.
No.
Because at the end of the day, it's a matter of attention. Like where you're at in Philly, where I'm at down here, you can drive 5 minutes and pass 50 restaurants.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's why are they coming to your restaurant? And my argument with people is the reason they're going to come to your restaurant, yes, good food, good service, but they're thinking about you.
Right.
It's attention that if you're in their phone, on email, on text, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, if you don't have their eyeballs or their fingers or their ears, you're going to lose out on that.
Right, definitely. You have to be in their face constantly, especially today. I mean, with the way social media has become. I just made a TikTok account. So
Uh-oh.
My daughter got
Watch
me.
out.
Yeah. Watch out.
Am I going to see you like
We're
dancing,
coming. Yeah, we're
dancing in
coming.
the room?
Nah, no way. No, not me.
Restaurant owners, did you know Matt has free online marketing courses that teach you how to successfully market your restaurant? Email support@mattplapp.com to get access to the courses and a free social media content calendar.
Okay, so the way I like to end the podcast is I always ask a question, what do you do to put it on airplane mode? Like you got your phone, you put it on airplane mode, you turn it off and you get back to your family, your life. Is there something that you do to get away from the restaurant and to kind of free your mind?
We go to other restaurants and get service. That's what we do. We go out to eat all the time.
Go out to eat?
But I want to be serviced this time. I don't want to do anything. But I go to Greece. I'm from, we're Greek, so I go to Greece on vacation in the summer. In the winter here, we'll go.
What part of Greece?
It's a southern small island called Carpathos.
Okay. I have a friend in Thessaloniki.
That's where my wife's from.
And I have a friend who's down near Athens.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Christos and Spiros.
Are they from here originally?
No, they're from there. They met me because we trained. We used to have a thing back 3 years ago. We trained marketers, and so I wrote my first book in 2018. Don't 86 your restaurant sales. The goal was to write a book that led to a training program that restaurateurs would go, man, this is valuable information. I need to learn it. Oh, I can't. They're going to do it for us. Well, what happened was a lot of restaurants read the book and didn't take me up on the training. Just said, here's my money, run our stuff for us. Marketers said, hey, I want to learn this stuff. Well, next thing I know, at one point we trained over 1,000 people over a couple of years, and we had, you name it, islands all over the world, Bermuda, Greece, Belgium, Philippines, Vietnam. But yeah, so
where's the camera? There.
Camera? Yeah, right in front of us.
That's where I'm from. See that water?
Oh my gosh.
That's
Are you taking me
that's
with
my
you?
daughter. Yeah, whenever you guys want, man.
That's like what, a 24-hour trip to get there, right?
No, 9 hours.
9 hours?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a cheap ass looking at flights and I'm like stuck at airports.
It's nothing, man. It's the same to drive from Philly to here. 8-9 hours, you're there.
Wow.
Get on a little plane after you get to Athens, and you're at the island in half an hour.
So if I go, how long should I stay?
I think you have to stay at least 10 days to 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because the airfare is expensive. It's a far trip, and you want to get the feel and see, go to see the museums, the ruins, and then go to the islands, and you'll love it. It's a great.
So should I start in Thessaloniki and just kind of work my way down?
Yeah, you can probably get a direct flight to Thessaloniki and then work your way down Athens into the islands.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, cool. Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And a man with good shoe game as well. So you got to see the shoes. We got our matching J's on. It's like we got together today to put this on. So that's all we got for this episode of MPTV. Remember, keep in your four walls, operate a great restaurant like Manny said, get to know your people, but also don't be afraid to find people outside of your restaurant that can help you take different aspects to the next level. That's all we got. We'll see you later.